If you have a baby, you know how much their brain is developing within those 1 to 2 years of life. The brain is actually doubling in size its first year of life, which really impacts that central nervous system of the body. And then it still is developing at a really quick amount up until age 7. So there is a really good way to check to see what the nervous system of the body is doing within your child, and that is through insight scans that I'm going to explain today. Traditional medicine, of course, is going to rely more on medicine, blood work, MRI, really x-rays, imaging that you're familiar with. And so sometimes it doesn't really fit what we need in some situations. And so if your child has struggled with colic in the past, trouble with immune system, ear infections, if they've had any kind of speech delay or just heightened tantrums as a toddler, and then if they've kind of grown into more of a sensory processing thing or just different types of struggles with ADHD, ADD, ODD, OCD, or even anxiety, those are all symptoms of a nervous system stuck in a place where it can't really thrive. The body can't do things like heal and digest and grow when it's stuck in a fight or flight, running from something dangerous at all times. And so a lot of pediatricians will say this is normal, think children will grow out of these symptoms, but that's because they don't really have imaging or a way to tell how the nervous system is actually functioning. And so these insight scans are a really, really great way to check. And so this is called electromyography. These scans right here in the middle, this is our EMG scan. So I'm going to kind of explain to you how we look at these EMG scans and what we're seeing and what that means for our children's health. So how the brain actually is working, that central nervous system, you have kind of two sets of nerves. You have basically your sensory nerves that are sending sensory input to the brain from the body to tell the body the report, like what's been going on, kind of like a report card. And then the brain can then decipher that material, put it into little categories, decide how it's going to respond. Then you have your motor nerves. And so those nerves are going to be sending signals out from the brain to the rest of your body, to your motor muscles, to tell your body what to do, how to do it, when to do it, etc., etc. That is a very fine dance of your sensory nerves sending the appropriate signals to the brain responding in the appropriate way. And because of that, there's 37.2 million cells in the human body that all have to be part of that dance. They all have to work together. They have to talk and they have to communicate appropriately. And so that is where things start to unravel if our nervous system is not working as it should. That is a very, very delicate thing that goes on in the body. It's an amazing process. It's a miracle every day that our body is functioning as it should. Our body is trying to heal itself every day. We just need to make sure it has all of the ability to do that, because it can get weighed down with tension, toxins, etc., etc. So when we're looking at kids who have any sort of diagnosis, we call it the perfect storm, but this insight scan is a great way to see within the body what's really going on. All of those things I listed, like the OCD, the ODD, those are all basically neurodevelopmental and neurosensory challenges that is going to leave the body stuck in like an altered state of tension, of tone. And so if you're familiar with like going to an OT, going to PT, you know the word tone. You're probably familiar with that. And that really is going to show us in the body, are we having a heightened sense of tone? Is there low tone? What is the body really doing? And so those tone challenges are a big deal. If the motor function and the development of the brain need to work together, and one of them is lacking, one's doing too much, it's going to throw off that really fine dance I was talking about. And then we're going to see big issues with things like emotional regulation, behavior, even like learning and memory can be really affected too. So there are 3 common findings when we're looking at these scans. 2 most common, and then the third is kind of a culmination or combination of that. So we have the raging bull, the drunken bull, and then the raging drunken bull. And so when we are looking at these scans, specifically these EMG scans here, we will really see a pattern, and then we know, based on the scans, our knowledge of them, our background, all of our education, all of the cases we've seen before, we can make a really detailed care plan for your child based on these scans. And so when we're looking at these scans, this is a recent patient. This is their initial scans when coming to care. And so there's basically 3 scans, looking at your HRV scan, EMG scan, inflammation scan. And we're looking to see change after that first group of adjustments. We're wanting to see some sort of change. The body is changing, adapting, doing some sort of different dance. It might not always look better. We just need to see change, but this scan actually does look better in quite a few ways. But we're looking at this EMG scan here and here in this set. So this is his initial. This is his most recent. So you can see from this scan here, a lot of red in the EMG. Even if you want to go to the inflammation, lots of red in the inflammation. We would like to see white. Red is obviously severe. Red means stop, bad. White is happy, good. So think about that. Going on to his most recent scans, we're seeing a whole lot more white. The red is really minimized, focused on one central area we can kind of focus on, even over here, much less red, much more white. And so when we're looking at these scans, we look at a lot of things, including these numbers up here. So this is going to be the raging bull scan. So when we're looking at a raging bull, we know quite a few things from looking at this scan. We can tell a lot about a child. Typically with raging bull children, they are stuck in that gas pedal. Their foot is always on the gas pedal. They're going. There is no stop. They're constantly moving, constantly asking questions, constantly touching things. They just have to be physically active. They need so much sensory input into their body. They are just raging full steam ahead. And so with these kids, we will see a lot of that sympathetic dominance. We're going to see a lot of hyperactivity, impulsivity, lots of anxiety, of course, because that's part of having that many feelings, and that need for input is going to lead them to a lot of anxiety, and it's very heightened. And then also things like difficulty sleeping is going to be a problem for them. When we look at this energy index, that's the biggest thing to tell us that a child is a raging bull. If this energy index is high, it should be close to 100. We will see there's just so much going on in the body. That energy index, their body is pumping out 400 watts. I don't know what the actual number is. A lot more energy than they need to have. We need this to be about 100. So this is crazy high compared to what it should be. Now, interestingly enough, I mentioned there's 3 types. This is the raging bull, but this is actually a raging drunken bull, because now his pattern and symmetry are both super low. In a classic raging bull, only this number will be high, and the pattern and symmetry will also be high, closer to 100. Everything should be as close to 100 as possible. So this is one of those cases where we're seeing a long-term effect of that raging bull that's actually going to lead in older kids to have patterns of both the raging and the drunken bull. So then this example is going to be that drunken bull. So when we have drunken bulls, it's a little bit different. They're kind of like that the bull in the china shop, and so they are going to have a lot more issues with focus, coordination, reading comprehension, communication, etc., etc. So we're seeing super low numbers of that pattern and symmetry. Energy is close to 100. This is not bad. They don't have too much energy. It's just not organized. Their body doesn't know how to make sense of the energy they do have. The brain's not telling the body what to do, and the body's not telling the brain what to do appropriately. Things just aren't working as they should. That communication, the walkie-talkies are full of static, and there is not good output, not good behavior, not good emotional regulation, because the body and the brain are just not communicating at all. So when we're looking at scans like this is a totally different picture. We know with this child, our plan is going to be a bigger focus on adjusting the hemisphericity in the brains, trying to level out that right and left hemisphere, really make sure that their body is working in coordination, rather than trying to focus on lowering the energy of the body, reducing tone. Very, very different pictures. And so when we're looking at all of these things, it's just really important to know where a child's at. This is a really great way to see, it's a window into that brain. What is their brain doing? Is my child having these symptoms because of something at a neurological level, or is it something else? And so by getting these scans, kind of like getting an x-ray, we can see within the body what really is going on, and then therefore make a really detailed plan for them on how to fix that. So like the scans are called insight scans. They're really giving us insight into then how to go ahead, how to move ahead, how to help our children. So at our office at Pinnacle Chiropractic, we are really trying to just help any kid we can really with these issues. They don't have to be wound up and worn out kids all of the time. Going back to school is a really hard time for them. They get in the car, they just let everything out on mom or dad, and it's emotionally exhausting. There's just so much on a day-to-day symptom-wise that parents with kiddos with these struggles deal with. And so going back to school, that change and transition can really highlight that, but this doesn't always have to be how it is. So if we can get on a neurological level and see inside of that body, we can make a game plan and help our kids in the best way we can. Hope this was helpful to you. Give our office a call if this sounds like something your child needs.